Right now on 13 Action News at 5, the Animal Foundation still needs your help to clear the shelter, and there's one day left. It's a significant wedding day and hopefully future anniversaries, why today is the perfect day to say I do. And one of the world's most celebrated diplomats passes away. A look back at the life of Kofi Annan. But first, some developing news right now. 2 people are in custody after trying to rob a person inside a 7-Eleven and then shooting a customer in the parking lot. 13 Action News reporter Austin Carter live near Vegas and Decatur where it all happened. And what can you tell us, Austin?
Well, that crime scene tape just came down here a few minutes ago surrounding this 7-Eleven. And you can imagine how scary this was as folks were outside filling up their gas tanks when all of a sudden someone started shooting at a customer in the parking lot. Now, this all happening around 1 o'clock this afternoon after a call regarding an attempted robbery. We're told that 2 people involved shot a male customer in the parking lot. The victim was rushed to a nearby hospital and is expected to be okay. Police also arrested those 2 suspects. Now, back out here live, no word yet on why those 2 suspects shot this customer. We are working right now to find out the identity of those 2 suspects that were arrested, as well as the victim. For now, reporting live, Austin Carter, 13 Action News.
All right, now we want to head over to weather. 13 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brian Schofield making a special appearance on the Saturday shift for Dan Bronis tonight. Cameo, but you don't mind because it's so hot out. You wanted to be in the AC, right? That's why you're here.
And the weekend crew is pretty chill, so that's always a plus. You guys are always so cool. Okay, take a look. Valley View Cam Live. Look at that, just a few little puffy clouds. All we're seeing today, but we haven't quite chopped away enough of that humidity, so you're still feeling the heat today. And there is more heat on the way for tomorrow, I assure you of that. So here are bullet points for that. Near record Sunday, plan on that. Plan on Monday, 2 near record highs. But here's when the storms ramp up again. I'll show you who gets them first coming up early next week in your 13 First Alert forecast. And that's just ahead.
An RTC bus was forced to swerve out of the way after a vehicle was going the wrong way. It happened early this morning on Eastern near Vegas Valley. The bus driver hit a fence to avoid the vehicle. That forced 2 other cars to crash into each other. No one was seriously hurt. The driver going in the wrong direction was arrested for DUI. Well, Henderson police released body camera footage of a shooting. They say it all started when they were looking into suspicious activity near Windmill and Pecos. An officer spoke with a man named Larry Calvert, who they say lied to them about who he was and then tried to run the officer over.
They couldn't find you out in Nevada. God, right over my foot.
Investigators learned 2 of those shots hit Calvert. They later found him at a home 20 miles away in the northwest part of the valley. We're told that the officer's injuries were minor. Police say a teen was almost kidnapped while walking to the bus stop. It happened yesterday near Blue Diamond and Dean Martin. The 13-year-old told police he encountered a white van with 2 men inside and the door wide open. The Tarkanian middle schooler said the 2 men were trying to lure him inside, and that's when he ran right back home.
Well, it's been happening all over with these schools more and more. It definitely solidifies my need to be here picking up my kid.
I'm glad that we knew about it. I think it's really important that we work together as a community to keep our kids safe.
Pretty scary stuff, and Metro is working with CCSD police to try and find that van and those 2 men. The teen says the van had no front license plate and it had a ladder on top. One of the most severely injured victims of the 1 October shooting is back in the hospital. Rosemarie Melanson faces more complications after being shot in the torso. She's gone through numerous surgeries, but she hopes her next surgery will be her last one. Throughout her journey, Rosemarie has had her family, including her 2 daughters who were with her the night of the shooting.
I knew she was strong and stubborn, but I didn't know how strong and stubborn she was.
We may be Vegas strong, but as a family, we're Melanson strong.
Melanson strong, I love that. And Rosemarie's surgery is scheduled for September, and after that, she says she wants to go on a cruise. She definitely deserves it. Well, he was one of the world's most celebrated diplomats. This evening, the world mourning the loss of Kofi Annan. He was the first black African Secretary General of the United Nations and a Nobel Peace Prize winner. ABC's Julia McFarlane takes a look back at his life.
You have wider horizons. There are no limits to what you can achieve.
He was the first black African to serve as UN Secretary General, the highest diplomatic office in the world. Born in 1938 into an elite family in the country now known as Ghana, the son of a provincial governor, the grandson of 2 tribal chiefs. In 1962, he began his career with the UN after graduating college in the US. Decades later, in 1997, Annan was elected to the organization's top post, a position he would hold until 2006. In 2001, Kofi Annan was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in revamping the organization. But his time there was not without criticism. His department was accused of ignoring information in advance of the genocide in Rwanda, where nearly 800,000 people were massacred. And 2 years later in Srebrenica, an area UN troops promised to keep safe, more than 8,000 Bosniaks also killed. At UN headquarters today in New York City, a flag flying at half-staff in his honor. Secretary General Antonio Guterres calling him a guiding force for good. He spent his life working for peace. Even after he retired, Annan served as a special envoy to Syria.
Today's United Nations does more than ever before. It does it better than ever before. Yet, our work is far from complete. Indeed, it will never be.
Julia McFarlane, ABC News, London.
And President Trump tweets at John Brennan, whose security clearance was stripped. Now the former CIA director is pushing back. On MSNBC today, he said, quote, "The fact he's using security clearance as a pawn, I think he's drunk on power. The move means Brennan will no longer have access to classified information." The White House says the move isn't being done to settle scores, but many believe the president is sending a strong message to try and silence his critics.
This wasn't a political decision by the president. Why did he not revoke the security clearance of General Flynn and John Bolton, both of whom are incredibly political in all of this?
Yesterday, 60 former CIA officers signed an open letter condemning the president's decision. In addition, more than a dozen former senior intelligence officials have called the president's actions an attempt to, quote, "stifle free speech." Well, the teen who pushed another girl off a bridge in Washington state has been formally charged. 18-year-old Taylor Smith is charged with reckless endangerment. You've seen the video of Jordan Holgerson standing at the edge of the bridge. That's when Taylor pushes her off. On GMA this morning, Taylor says she never intended to hurt Jordan.
She wanted to jump and she was scared, and she had asked me to give her a push, and I didn't think about the consequences. I thought she would be fine.
Jordan is recovering from 6 broken ribs, a punctured lung, and other injuries. She says she wants Taylor to sit in jail and think about what she did. Taylor could serve a maximum sentence of nearly a year in jail and a $5,000 fine. Mourners in Colorado paid their respects Friday to the pregnant mother and daughters killed. Chris Watts confessed to the murders. Today was supposed to be a gender reveal party for their third child. People in Frederick gathered last night to mourn Shannon and her 2 daughters' deaths. Watts' brother revealed the gender of the child posthumously. It was a boy. The brother says Watts had planned to name him Nico. Well, you still have one more day to help clear the shelter. The city of Henderson hopes to find homes for pets this weekend. You see some of them there. Cats and dogs are half price. Henderson residents can get an extra discount. Head over there tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 5, and for more information, you can visit the city's website. Well, new at 5, dozens of couples are saying "I do" today. That's because 8/18/18 is the most popular wedding date of the year. 13 Action News reporter Nina Porshunkala explains why.
Here at the Chapel of the Flower, 74 couples tied the knot on 8/18/18. Sarah and Stephen Montoya is just one of thousands of couples across the country who said their "I do's" today.
Love at first sight, I guess you could say. I mean,
we like the same thing.
Yeah, like everything. Everything was, meshed really well together.
Why 8/18/18? It's a lucky number. 8 symbolizes infinity, and it's also a palindrome, a sequence of numbers that reads the same forward and backward.
The couples are here making promises to each other for infinite love, and it's just a really wonderful and special feeling.
It was a very busy day at the chapel, with at least 3 couples getting married at the same time every 30 minutes. The service complete with a limousine. And what's a wedding without picture taking? Done professionally to capture this moment.
Families coming together that maybe haven't seen each other for years or have maybe never even met.
These couples say tying the knot at 8/18/18 is not just a symbolic act, promising they will work together to make their vows last forever. Infinite, like the number 8.
Forever and ever?
Yes, forever.
That's why today was the day, because 8s never end.
Nina Porshunkala, 13 Action News.
Hey, at least they'll always remember their anniversary. Congrats to them. Well, doctors are seeing an epidemic of nearsighted kids. Ahead in the newscast, learn the one thing that they're blaming it on. Also, it's a bridge made for the brave, a new sight to see that's now been completed in China. And count on Chopper 13 to bring you breaking news fast and first. We'll be right back. All right, well, if you're scared of heights, this bridge might not be for you. You might want to just look away on this one. A new glass bottom suspension bridge just opened in northeast China. It's almost the length of 4 football fields and over 500 feet over the ground. More than 10,000 people showed up to take those stomach-churning steps across the thick glass. It stretches between 2 cliffs over a canyon.
Pass. 100% pass. Not a chance. All right, anyway, does anyone else feel like me? I hope so. Otherwise, I sound pretty wimpy. So take a look. Got that blue sky in the background, some, and a lot of heat still. That heat, not going to change. If anything, we're going to ramp it up a few more degrees. So close to records, we'll probably be about 2 degrees off records tomorrow and Monday. Yeah, 107 today. I think the record today is 111, so we're a little bit farther off, but definitely seeing the temperatures get even warmer yet for tomorrow. And some areas even warmer yet than us, but that's still a pretty big number for even this late in the game, because obviously we're not done with summer. We're not done with the summer monsoon, got about a month left, but still things should be starting to wind down. Averages are, but our temperatures have not been following suit. So out toward the east, look at that mess. There's a lot going on through Arizona. They've had all of the moisture and really most of the storms, and sometimes we get the byproduct of that. When the storms collapse, we get that big rush of air here, but haven't seen that today, nor did we put any in the forecast. So we didn't expect that, and we're not getting it. Don't expect any storms in for tonight either, and especially not for tomorrow. We're going to dry things out a little bit more, but I just don't think you're going to feel it entirely because the heat is going to come back up again. So 13 First Light Desert Doppler closer in. I think it looks pretty good, mostly safe, mostly sane for tonight, and really that's the way we like it. But let me show you where the moisture is going. It's really retreating. There's an ebb and flow to the summer monsoon. See how it retreats for Sunday? That means Sunday will be a warmer day. It'll allow temperatures to rebound. Oftentimes when you have all that humidity and moisture, it stifles the temperature growth, if you will. I'm kind of oversimplifying it, but that's what happens. Either way, by Monday, we're drier, not completely dry, but watch how it ramps up for later Monday to Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Here it comes, making a big comeback on Tuesday, and even bigger yet for Wednesday and Thursday. And those will be our best chances to get thunderstorms back in the valley. So plan on that. So thunderstorms go away, then they'll make a big comeback, and in between times, we're going to see temperatures get practically to 110 degrees, and that is interesting. Not unbelievable, but interesting for this time of year. We set most of our big records in July. Second would be for August, and certainly we're still seeing those 110s and flirting with records. Pretty amazing. So Sunday we're going to call for just shy of 110 degrees. Ending off the weekend or start of the week and get to right to about 107. The record about 110, so we're going to be right there, pretty close. And you can see by Tuesday temperatures fall even more, and really throughout the week they do because we increase the humidity level, so you'll get that air you can wear again. And then of course we've got all that this lightning you can handle, and really just kind of burning through the area through Thursday, maybe even Friday, but temperatures do start to come back up again. We do start to release a little bit of that moisture again. Overnight lows generally stay in the 80s for the most part, but afternoon highs right at 110. So plan on it being really a hot day for tomorrow, and don't overdo it. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Brian. Well, if you're looking for a job, we're here to help. We're working with Nevada Job Connect. We want to make sure you know about job openings right here in the Valley. There's an opening for an office administrator. The pay will depend on your experience. Also, an opening for a kitchen worker. The pay for that job, $8.25 an hour. And an opening for a yard man. Pay for that job is $14 an hour. For more information on these jobs and other openings around the Valley, just head on over to ktnv.com/jobs. From Contact 13 now, your student loan debt could push your marriage to the brink. The new study from Student Loan Hero found 1/3 of borrowers say student loans played a role in their divorce. For newer couples, debt may translate into putting off buying a house or having children. Experts suggest couples consider a prenuptial agreement that guarantees that each person will be reimbursed for the money they put towards their spouse's loan. Right now, borrowers have an average balance of $34,000. And if purchasing glasses for your child was a part of your back-to-school shopping list, you're not alone. 13 Action News anchor Beth Fisher found doctors are seeing an epidemic of myopic or nearsighted kids, and they're blaming it on one thing.
I took my 12-year-old daughter to see Dr. Suzanne Riffle for a routine eye exam, and we were shocked to learn she needed glasses.
I was actually really surprised by that because I could see the board fine at school and I never thought that there was any problems with my vision.
But it wasn't a surprise to our family optometrist.
We are finding a huge uptick in the amount of nearsightedness in the younger population. Yes, to the point that we would use the word epidemic. It's becoming critical.
The reason? Kids are spending more time than ever before on digital devices like iPads and cell phones.
Their whole world is moving in, and we're finding that our visual systems are adapting to focus up close as opposed to in the distance.
As a matter of fact, our kids' eyes work so hard to focus up close, their eyeballs actually change shape, growing longer. And that puts our kids at a higher risk for retinal detachments, glaucoma, and macular degeneration in their older years.
Tell me when those letters get so blurry.
While myopia is not reversible, there are new treatments to help keep your child's eyes from getting worse. My daughter is trying atropine eye drops, and so far, so good.
We don't need to change your glasses, they're perfect.
And a few tips for parents. First, your child's eyes should be checked as an infant and then once a year starting in kindergarten. Second, after 20 minutes on a device, make sure your kids take a vision break. They need to look across the room for a while or go outside. Finally, your kids' vision can change with growth spurts too, so even if you've had their eyes checked in the past year, pay attention when their bodies are changing because their eyes may be changing too. Well, straws were the first thing to be ditched in the latest environmental effort. Now balloons may be next. More on the effort to go green. Then, one man's trash is another man's treasure. More on selling vintage items online and if it's really worth it. All right, well, first it was straws. Well, now balloons could be the next thing to go in the environmentally friendly wave we've been seeing. Starting this season, Clemson University will stop doing its historic balloon release before football games. And Virginia is expanding a campaign to get people not to release balloons at weddings. Plus, there's even a town in Rhode Island that's banned balloon sales altogether. Balloons only sometimes make the list of the top 25 things found during beach cleanups. And in terms of trash volume, they're way down on the list. Latex balloons are not a plastic and they are also biodegradable. In some cases, they can break down in the same amount of time as an oak leaf. That's all according to the Balloon Council. They've always discouraged balloon releases, but say if you're going to do it, just make sure that there's nothing attached. The Balloon Council has also told people not to release foil balloons because they're not biodegradable, but that's a lot less common since they're more expensive. All right, well, have you been holding on to Beanie Babies and Game Boys hoping they'll be worth something someday? I think we've all thought that before. Scripps reporter Annie Taylor looked into what's worth donating and what's worth selling if you want to make some extra cash.
I think we're all guilty of hoarding those nostalgic items inside our garage. But when it really comes down to it, after talking to an eBay expert, he told me majority of that stuff should either be thrown out or donated. I know it's kind of depressing, but there is a silver lining. He did say there are a few items that you should keep to make some extra cash.
Game Boy or original Nintendo. I mean, you can easily, as long as it's like in working condition, you can get like $125, $140 for it.
Glenn Zubia rakes in 6 figures a year selling items on eBay. He says retro games, comic books, sports cards, and anything pop culture will sell.
People have a big fan base and they've always been fans since 80s, 90s plus. And if there's certain things that they're collecting, they'll pay top dollar for it.
But before you go uploading them to eBay, there are a few things you should know. Your item has to be in near mint condition. It should be a rare find, and if it's electronic, it needs to work. Also, you have to be realistic when it comes to pricing. For example, we found people posting the purple Princess Diana Beanie Baby on eBay for nearly $30,000. That's crazy. When we looked at how much it's selling for, try under $15.
Kind of seeing what people post it at, but what are they really selling for?
But remember, you get money for items that are one of a kind. So if you've been saving Disney movies on VHS tapes, thinking one day they'll be worth something, sorry, but it's time to toss them. Think about it. If those were mass-produced, chances are your neighbor has the same collection. Okay, so say you do have items that are worth something. Glenn suggests you send them into companies that can grade their condition.
And if they're graded, then your item could be, 10 times more, 5 times more than what it would be if it was just, used or paint's coming off or bent up corners and things.
It might be tough, but you need to be ruthlessly honest with yourself when you go through it all.
30 grand for a Beanie Baby. That's pretty surprising there. All right, well, a single New York woman is not ready to mingle. After the break, see her hilarious Instagram account that pokes fun at relationships. And don't forget to download the all-new 13 Action News app. It features live streaming, video on demand, and a handy weather radar. It's free in the App Store and in Google Play. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, well, here's a look at the primetime lineup tonight right here on ABC. At 6 o'clock, the Denver Broncos taking on the Chicago Bears. Then, after the game is 2020. Then, coming up on 13 Action News at 11, driving under the influence can have deadly consequences. But what happens if a DUI suspect is a police officer? Contact 13 investigates why some say officers have been getting a pass. All right, well, a New York woman shows the world you don't need to have a ring on it in order to live your best life. Mary McCarthy started an Instagram page called Not Engaged. Through her everyday adventure, she shows followers where she is, all while flashing her bare, no diamond wearing hand. McCarthy created the page after a friend's engagement party 2 years ago. She also created a parody page on the Knot titled Not Engaged and Alone Forever. And instead of a wedding date, she writes that on December 31st, 2022, she'll be crying in bed. McCarthy says she's not against marriage, she's just having fun.
Passive-aggressive fun. Take a look. Allergy forecast. Here, let's give it to you right there. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's in the medium category. Grasses, sagebrush, ragweed, the usual suspects this time of year. And then temperatures climb up and then they drop back down again. And when they do, that means thunderstorms are on the way back to the valley. 80s for lows and those low 100s for highs. Back to you.
All right, well, that's our news for right now. Stay with us. Football coming on up next. We're always on at ktnv.com, our mobile app, our Roku channel, and the latest version of Apple TV. We'll see you right back here at 11. Thanks for watching, everyone.